that's the biggest complaint, is that there's so many things out there. We've got, I know FreedomWorks, we've got our Ning page, we have the Smart Girl Politics Ning page, there's, you know, the Rebuild the Party site, there's all these different sites. I'm sorry?
The Lee brothers.
Oh, right, and I mean, and they break down to, I mean, all kinds of local groups, everything else, and we've all connected so much online. And that really has been the build of the momentum throughout the course of the last year on the conservative movement. We have seen tea parties spring up everywhere, and what's so cool about it is that we can read about tea parties in every corner of the country. We can see what's happening on the streets. Twitter especially, I know a lot of you guys see it as kind of a younger kid demographic. It's not. Only 20% of kids under the age of 24 are actually even on Twitter. It's been very much dominated by news and information because it's the fastest way for things to go viral. It is the fastest way for us to connect. And I have met almost every single person I have met in the movement via Twitter. I actually just got my job on FreedomWorks via Twitter. So I cannot stress the importance of this to you. And it's so easy for you to plug in, those of you that are not. And those of you that are, fantastic. You can always do more. You can always connect more, and this is going to be the continuation of this movement. I know I've gotten to do some work in Virginia. I actually am a recent resident. I moved up here less than 2 months ago, and I kind of forget I'm listening to all this Virginia stuff tonight. I'm like, oh wow, that's actually, he's talking about me tonight. I did get to speak with Jamie at the Richmond Tea Party back in August, and it's been awesome to kind of see. Oh, Mr. Armey just walked in. I've gotten to see so much awesome stuff happen. So I'm going to wrap this up really quick, but there's so much momentum to be had there. There are so many things. It's so easy for you guys to get plugged in, and Mr. Taylor was speaking about getting involved. The easiest way is to go and get on Facebook and start talking to other conservatives. Get on Twitter and start talking to other conservatives. Read the blogs and figure out what's going on, because you're not going to get it from the media anymore. So if you have any questions, I'm available around. Find me. And I guess we've got Nan up here to introduce Mr. Armey.
I get the honor.
You get the honor.
I will not forget 1994, will you? What happened in 1994? You remember the whole, we were all of us in this room are, the radical conservative looking for free markets that work, limited government, and we said, please give me a voice. Give me a voice somewhere in D.C. that makes me feel good about politicians again. Because you know how we all do. We look at them and we think they're all bad. Every now and then, there's a voice that sticks out. And we were so lucky then, as we are now, to find that voice in Dick Armey, who was a majority leader then, who helped bring about the Contract for America, and is now in charge of FreedomWorks, which is expanding freedom and liberty. I don't need to say anything else. Dick Armey.
Dick Armey, and I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm from New York. El Paso?
Yeah.
Who's from El Paso?
Right here.
Kinky Friedman wrote a song about your town. I don't know. We can't talk about it here.
Say wherever there's greatness, there's Texas.
We can't talk about Kinky Friedman's songwriting to your Virginian ears.
Oh, well, I'm from New York, so I don't care.
Enough of this. First of all, let me appreciate y'all. What a great crowd. Look, I want to say hello, Mr. and Mrs. Grassroots America. You're real. You're here. You're showing. I have admired the grassroots movement since my own election in 1984. I don't know how many you wouldn't know this, but when I ran for Congress in 1984, absolutely every member of the Republican establishment advised me not to run because I couldn't win. And in the process of winning this race, I recruited at their doorsteps 1,600 volunteers. They in turn went out and marched for me. And if you've ever seen a Texas summer, their attitude was, if this guy can walk all day and knock on doors in July and August, I can do it for 2 days in October. And we coined the first Army's axiom about campaigns in that race: hard work beats daddy's money. Real people who really care, who really show up, will make the difference. Now what we have today, all of the energy that I find in America today around public policy and governance is energy that is coming from people who believe in the American Constitution as the most marvelous act of entrepreneurial genius for liberty and freedom in the history of the world. And you don't know that in Virginia. You understand that individuals working for themselves and their family are free to make transactions on their own terms with other people doing the same will always get you the best economic results. That governments should understand that liberty is a gift given to mankind and mankind alone by the Lord God Almighty, and it is the duty of government to protect your liberty. That is the first duty of government. And that we're tired of the big spending, irresponsible ways of Washington, where their first objective seems to go no further than to growing their own dominion over your lives and the lives of your grandchildren.
Thanks, sir.
And you take a look, I'm laughing at it today. You want to see a laboratory of what America is thinking today? Look at the New York 23rd District, that special election. The Democrats are demoralized and confused. All they've got is an acute case of buyer's remorse. They're sitting there saying, we were promised change we can believe in, and what we've got is scaring us half to death. And I have been talking to Democrats. Just 2 days ago, I had two very prominent Democrats in Washington, D.C. who said they voted for the Republican in the Virginia governor's race, and I said, why would you do that? And they said, because Obama's scaring us to death. And so the Democrats are confused, and they're wondering, did we make a grand mistake? These people don't seem to know any bounds, don't understand the limits of big government, think they've discovered the money tree, and just go on and on and on. The Republicans are still trying to figure out who they are. They've had more identity crises in the last 5 years than the average high school sophomore.
I think they're getting the picture.
And I think they're getting the picture, and the reason they're getting the picture, and you're seeing it in New York, the Republican Establishment Party nominated a candidate who was seen by the voters across that district as nothing but Democrat-like. And they rejected her immediately. That Republican lost that race the moment she was nominated. And then the conventional conservative party that's been in New York for years nominated their guy. And immediately from day one, he has risen in the polls while the Republican and the Democrat have dropped in polls. Why? Because the Republicans and the Democrats have no energy. They don't have people willing to show up and work for their candidates. The energy is with the independent, liberty-loving, small government conservatives like us. Now here's the deal. Watch the behavior and the reaction to you and me that comes from the Republican, or the establishment, the office holders. When last April 15th, we all showed up all across the country with our first round of Tea Party activism. What did they say? Well, you're not real. You'll go away. You won't be back. You were just organized by some guy in Washington. They never could understand who you were, where you came from, how you got there on your own terms, at your own initiative, to make your voice heard, and they discounted you and dismissed you. Yeah. Then in August, what happened? First of all, let me say Nancy Pelosi made a clearly strange decision. Armey's axiom is, if you want to peddle a bum steer, keep it under wraps. What she did is let her committees report out that bill just before the August recess, and then the people didn't start reading it.